1 minute. Say constructors of what is constructor? A constructor is a special method which has same name as the class name. Same name as the class name, which has no return type. A constructor is a special method which has same name as the class name and which has no return type. So method name, class name, if it is same and return type is not there, that is called constructor. When constructor is called? Constructor is called automatically whenever an object is created. An object is created. What is the purpose of constructor? To initialize instance variables. Constructors are used to initialize instance variables. How many types of constructors are there? 2 types. So there are 2 types of constructors. First one, default constructor. First one, default constructor. Default constructor means without arguments. Second one, parameterized constructor. Parameter constructor means with arguments. Okay. 2 types of constructors: default constructor, parameter constructor. Which constructor implicitly comes? Default constructor. If the class does not contain any other constructor, then Java compiler implicitly provides default constructor. Up to here, notes are given. These all are given. No? Say, today you are learning constructors. Say, a constructor is a special method. What is a specialty? Specialty is method name and class name same. If class name and method name is same, and if there is no return type, that is called constructor. So class name, method name, if it is same, if there is no return type, then we can call it as constructor. Return type is void also return type. Like you studied method categories, 4 categories of methods you studied. Okay. With return value, without return value also is studied. With return value means you'll write primitive data type or reference data type. Without return value means what you'll write? Void. But void is also the return type. So here no return type. We should not write void also. Then we'll call it as constructor. Okay. This constructor is called automatically whenever an object is created. If we create object, then constructor is called. Constructor, no need to call. It is automatically called. And constructors are used to initialize instance variables. Instance variables initialization. Already you have seen. But with constructor we can initialize. Without constructor we can initialize. What's the difference? I'll explain. There are 2 types of constructors because return type is not there. That's what 2 types. Without arguments is called default constructor. With arguments is called parameter constructor. In your program, if constructors are not there, default constructor implicitly comes. These all points I have to explain. I'll explain. See. File open. See here. Suppose here what I'm doing, just observe class demo. Class demo. Here demo as it is I'm writing left parenthesis, right parenthesis, brackets. Okay. Now here class name demo. Here method name demo. There is no return type. See, class name demo, method name demo. There is no return type. This is called constructor. But suppose if I write like this, it is one concept. Suppose if I write like this, class name demo, method name also demo, but I written small letter. I written small letter. Is it called constructor? No. Capital letter, small letter also you have to check. Now, this is called constructor. This is not a constructor. It is treated as normal method. Normal method. But normal method, can you write without return type? No. It is invalid method. It is valid constructor. It is invalid method. Just write this one. Examples. I'll give some other examples also. It is first one. It is constructor. It is constructor. It is method. It is valid. It is not valid. That is, maybe some problem is there. That's what like that. That settings maybe they'll change tomorrow. Is it over? No. This is constructor. This is method. This is constructor. This is a method. See, class name demo. Here method name also demo, and it is return type not there. It is called constructor. But here I given return type not there, but small letter I given. It is not constructor. It is called method. But method without return type not possible. Suppose third one you observe class demo, and here return type void, method name demo. Let is written. Is it valid? Is it valid or not valid? Valid. But is it constructor or method? Method. It is a method. So it is a method. It is valid. It is valid. Not on this one. See, this third one, it is a method. Fourth one, class demo, open brace. If I write like this, what will happen? You think yourself it can be right or wrong. If I write like this. Here, what will happen? You observe. If you think also, you may not give answer this one. This is somewhat confusion. See, suppose class name demo, method name demo, even capital letter, small letter also same I written. Then it is called constructor, but there is a return type. Like invalid constructor, you can say. But according to methods, it is a valid method. It is valid method, but notation not followed. Method second word onwards first letter capital, but here notation not followed. It is not recommended, but valid method. Like that appears. But in this case, what JVM understand, that is you have to learn. So if you think here, what will happen? You may give answer. It is a constructor. See, here, if you think also what will happen, it is constructor, but invalid because return type is there. Like that, you may think that is also right appears. You may think one more way, it is method, notation not followed, but it is not recommended valid. Like that also right appears. This type of questions, so many concepts are there. This type of questions, if you think also, you will not get answer. That is also right way appears. This is also right way appears. Constructor with return type, that's what error. Like that, thinking right. Method, notation not followed. That is also thinking right appears. But what JVM understand, that is you should know. That's what. This is method. It is valid, but not recommended. All right, this one. Method not valid. Method valid. So JVM and compiler will understand like this. JVM and compiler will understand it is a method. So if you think like a constructor, it is return type is there not valid. Like that, you may think that is also thinking is right, but method notation not followed. That way of thinking also right appears. But Java compiler and JVM understandable format you have to learn. Compiler and JVM will understand it is a method notation not followed. Like that, it will understand. Okay. Now, here, that's what first point I given. A constructor is a special method which has same name as the class name and which has no return type. Class name, method name, same, and no return type. No return type. It is called constructor. Remaining all methods. But here method return type is not there, error. Here method return type is there, valid. Here notation not followed, valid, but not recommended. Like that, it will understand. Okay. Now you observe. Is it constructor or method? Constructor. Say public static void main string aux. Here system.out.println something welcome. Say here a constructor is a special method which has same name as the class name and which has no return type. Say class name demo, method name demo, there is no return type. It is called constructor. It is called constructor. Constructor is called automatically whenever an object is created. Constructor is called automatically whenever an object is created. This is no need to, it is automatically called. So if I create object, it is called. Say demo d equal to new demo. If I create object, then whenever object is created, constructor is called. How constructor is called? In the object creation syntax itself, constructor is there. This is nothing but constructor, no? So in the object creation syntax itself, it is a constructor. This is going to be called. Then welcome printed. See, constructor is called automatically whenever an object is created. Java C demo.java. Java demo. See, welcome. Suppose here, if I write void, is it considered a method? Method is not called automatically unless you call. Now, if I compile, it is not called. See, it is not called. Okay. Now, here, if I write like this, it is a constructor. Now, I'll ask one more question. Give me answer. Your answer can be right or wrong. If I write like this, constructor is called or not called? Called or not called? Not called. Because here what is created? Object reference created. Here object is not created. Object reference created. Okay. When constructor is called? Whenever object is created. Is it object? No, it is object reference. It is object reference. Okay. Now, if I compile and execute, no output. Okay. Suppose, see, if I compile and execute, no output. Compilation, execution. Okay. Now, suppose if I write like this, constructor is called or not called? Give me an answer. If I write like this, called, because object created. See, this type of object is called. This type of object is called anonymous object. We can also call unreferenced object. Now you can call anonymous object or unreferenced object. Write this program. Write this program. So here demo class loaded, main method called, object created. Whenever object is created, constructor is called. So this is a proof. Whenever object is created, constructor is called. See, then output welcome. So in an object creation syntax itself, there is a constructor. So in this line here, we are calling this is constructor. That's what constructor is called automatically. Okay. Is it over? Is it default constructor or parameter constructor? Default constructor, because no arguments. No arguments. Now you observe 4 examples I given. This is first example. Suppose if I write like this demo, you will get an error. File, save. You observe error. Invalid method declaration, return type required. Invalid method declaration, return type required. So return type is not there. That's what error. Suppose if I write like this, valid, but is it considered a method? Method. See, until you call, it is not called. It will compile, syntactically right. Okay. No error, no output. No error, no output because we didn't call. Then how to call this method? Now, suppose if I write this one capital D, is it considered a method? Method. Is it instance method or class method? How many ways to access? 2 ways. What are those? With object reference, I want to call this method. How to call? Give me answer. Demo D equal to new demo. Next D dot demo. Like this you have to call. Because it is now method, it is not a constructor. File, save. Compilation, execution. So it is last one, 4th one. Write this one. Now it is not a constructor, it is a method. It is not a constructor, it is a method, but valid. So it is a method, it is an instance method. Explicitly we have to call. With object reference, I call. With object reference, I call. Demo class loaded, open brace executed, main method called, open brace executed. In this line, object created, but it is not a constructor. That's what not called. After creating object with object reference, we are calling demo. Then it is called, you'll get output welcome. So it is not a constructor. It is a method. If it is constructor, in first line only it should execute. Okay. It is a proof. See, you observe. If I remove this line, program will it compile? Compiles, executes, no error, no output. Okay. See, successfully compiled, successfully executed, no error, no output. Okay. So it is method. It is not called until unless you call. So I'm calling like this, then call. Okay. Now you can identify constructor. No. So a constructor is a special method which has same name as a class name and which has no return type. You can identify constructors. Constructor is called automatically whenever an object is created. This we'll see later. First, these all will see. There are 2 types of constructors: default constructor, parameter constructor. Now, is it no? If I write like this, it is default constructor, parameter constructor, default constructor. Now, if I write like this, parametered constructor. Okay. Now, this is default constructor. This is parametered constructor. Here without arguments. Here with arguments. Now, here demo D1 equal to new demo. If I write, now in this line, constructor is there. This is okay. Now which constructor called? Default constructor called. Okay. Suppose if I write like this, demo D2 equal to new demo 5. Which constructor called? Second constructor called. In first line, this first constructor called. In second line, second constructor called. Okay. Now file, save, compilation, execution. So welcome and file. Suppose if I write like this, now what will be happen? Give me answer. Demo D3 equal to new demo. Suppose like this I written. It is it constructor is called? No. This constructor not there. Invalid. Error. Okay. In this line, error comes. That particular constructor, string parameter constructor is not there, no? So error comes. See, incompatible types. String cannot be converted to integer. So it's an error. Now, if I remove this one, constructors are called or not called? Called. Just yesterday or day before yesterday, you studied one concept. Method name same, parameter list different. Then that concept is called method overloading or overriding. Overloading. Method name same, parameter list different. That concept is called overloading. Like that, constructor overloading. It is possible. You can write 2 constructors in a one program. You can write. Say compilation, execution, welcome and file. Suppose it is also integer x. Is it valid? No. It is called overriding. Overriding can we write in the same class? No. Ambiguity comes. While calling this line, it cannot understand which constructor should be called. Okay. That's what not possible. Overloading possible. Overriding not possible. If you write like this, overloading. Write this concept also. Write this one. This is called default constructor. This is called default constructor. This is called parametered constructor. Here, constructor overloading. Constructor overloading, you can call this concept. Constructor overloading. Write this one. Default constructor, parametered constructor. So in this program, how many objects I created? 2 objects. With this first object, first constructor called. With this second object, second constructor called. But I want to create only one object. I want to call both the constructors. That is also possible. I'll show you. Here, demo without arguments. Demo without arguments, it is called default constructor. Demo with one parameter, so parametered constructor, and constructor name same, parameter list is different. This concept is called constructor overloading. Method name same, parameter list is different. That is called method overloading. Overloading, three different ways possible. What are those? Number of arguments, data types, or order of an arguments. Either number of arguments or data types or order of arguments. Any one difference should be there. Then it is called overloading. If everything same is there, overriding. Overriding not possible in same class. Same class not possible. Okay. Now, this is consider overloading. You observe. If I remove second line, then if I compile and execute, what will be the output? Welcome. File, save. First constructor called welcome, output comes and stop it. Suppose if I write year 5, what is the output comes? 5. Output, second constructor called output comes 5. That's it. Okay, like this. Now, year. One concept is there about this keyword only. See, this bracket semicolon, if you write, it calls default constructor. Note down. It calls default constructor of super class, current class. It calls default constructor of current class. It calls parameterized constructor of current class. It calls parametered constructor of current class. So this bracket semicolon, if you write, it calls default constructor of current class. This brackets parameters, if you write, it calls parametered constructor of current class. It calls default constructor of current class. It calls parametered constructor of current class. Here, without arguments, default constructor. With arguments, parameter constructor. So this nothing but current class. Current class constructor called. See, but one more thing, note down, note. These brackets or these arguments must be first statement. Must be first statement in a constructor. This brackets semicolon or this arguments semicolon must be first statement in a constructor. This brackets semicolon or this arguments semicolon must be first statement in a constructor. So either this or this must be first statement in a constructor. You cannot write second statement. Why? You will understand in further sessions while teaching super keyword. This concept, that concept related. At the time, you will get a clarity about this. Okay. What I given, see, yesterday, this dot I given. Yesterday I given different. This is different. These examples I given. No. This dot I given. This dot for variables and methods, but these brackets for constructors. Okay, these brackets for constructors. Now see, in the program you observe, now demo class loaded, open brace executed, main method called, object created, then here parameter passed. That's what parameter constructor called. Here this bracket semicolon I'll write. It calls default constructor of current class. Now welcome printed, file printed, file save. See, welcome and file. Suppose this line, if I write as a second line, it's an error. Why? Today not possible. While teaching super keyword, I'll explain. See, call to this must be first statement in constructor. Call to this must be first statement in a constructor. Now, this line you are right here only. Okay. New demo of 5. From here, control comes here. This control comes here. Then welcome printed. After that, 5 printed. Write this program. Demo class loaded. Main method called, new demo of 5. Then parameter constructor called, this brackets, then default constructor called, welcome printed. After printing, 5 printed. See, if you want to print 5 first 5, later welcome, then what we have to do? Now, first of all, you observe demo class loaded, open brace executed, main method called, open brace executed, new demo of 5. Control comes here. Now this control comes here. Welcome printed. After that, 5 printed. Now I want to print 5 first, later welcome. I'll remove this here. Here. What do you write? This of 5. Here we have to remove 5. Okay. It calls default constructor. Control comes here. This of 5. It calls parameter constructor. Control comes here. 5 printed. After that, welcome printed. Okay. Write this one also. Write this one also. So output is 5 welcome. 5 and welcome. Okay. This one, this bracket semicolon, this argument semicolon must be first statement in a constructor. But this dot we written yesterday, that is we can write second line also. This dot for variables and methods. Whatever we written yesterday, this dot, that is you can write second line also, third line also. But these brackets, these arguments, you cannot write. See, this dot, this brackets, these arguments. It is different. Okay. This dot for variables and methods. This is only for variables and methods. These two for constructors. Okay. Now I'll ask some questions. Give me answer. What is this? This is a keyword. That's what heading only this keyword I given. So for loop also keyword, for also keyword, if also keyword, but static also keyword, but concept. What is this? Object reference. Object reference. We can also call. This is called as object reference or reference variable. Object reference also you can call, reference variable also you can call. Why we are calling object reference or reference variable? Because it refers object. Which object? Current object. It refers current object. Okay. Will it come implicitly in the instance method? Yes. Will it come implicitly in the class method? No. Will it come implicitly in the constructor? Yesterday given, you can see the notes. It will come implicitly in the constructor, initialization block, instance method. 3 places it comes. 3 places implicitly it comes. We didn't use in a constructor, now still. It is implicitly comes in instance method, constructor, initialization block. Okay. When we have tried explicitly, with the 1-2 classes only, if you forget, further I cannot do anything. Just a 1 day gap only, if you forget. How many object-oriented principles are there? 4. What are those? Encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. Is it started? Not yet started. For learning these 4 principles, what we required? Class and object. Class and object required. What is class? Collection of variables and methods. Variables completed. Methods you are learning. In the method, special method is constructor. So, till principles not yet started. For learning principle, this knowledge compulsory. Without this knowledge, principles you cannot understand. Without this knowledge, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, not possible. I given already. To use object-oriented principles in a Java programming, we need the following language constructs. Class, object. I given no? So, if you forget now only, object-oriented principle you cannot understand. Concept to concept relation will be there. That's what. Give answers. This dot you studied, this brackets you studied, this arguments you studied. Okay. Now, this dot for variables and methods, and this brackets for constructors. These 2 for constructors. This is for variables and methods. What is this? Object reference or reference variable. Why we are calling object reference or reference variable? Because it refers object. Which object? Current object. It refers current object. Will it come implicitly in the instance method? Yes. Will it come implicitly in the class method? No. Will it come implicitly in the constructor? Yes. Will it come initialization block? Yes. Will it come in a static initialization block? No. It will come only three places: instance method, constructor, initialization block. These three places implicitly comes. Okay. When we have to write this keyword explicitly, whenever instance variable and local variable names are same, if you want to access instance variable required. Okay. If variable names are different, no need to write this keyword. If local variable name, instance variable names are same, if you want to access instance variable, then this keyword explicitly required. Okay. Can we write static? Can we write this keyword inside the static method? No. Inside the static method, inside the static initialization block, it is not possible. Static method and static initialization block do not refer this keyword in any way. Implicitly not possible, explicitly not possible. Okay. That is yesterday you have seen. This dot, you can write second line also, third line also, fourth line also, anywhere you can write. Okay. Now this bracket semicolon, what this line will do? It calls default constructor of current class. It calls default constructor of current class. This argument semicolon, what it will do? It calls parametered constructor of current class. Now this bracket, this arguments, can we write second line? No. This must be first line only. That too inside the constructor only. Other places you cannot write. So this bracket, this arguments, you can write only inside the constructor. That too first statement only. Okay. Don't forget this all, remember. Okay. Now, you have seen these up to here. You observe. This is how to explain, not completed. Before going to that one, this is also I'll cover. See, if the class does not contain any other constructor, then Java compiler implicitly provides default constructor. With this line, think yourself and give me answer. I'll ask some questions. Suppose if program, will it compile or not? This program, if I compile, will it compile or not? Yes, it will compile. Will it execute? Yes. What will be the output? Welcome. Okay. Now I'll remove this one. This code, if I compile, will it compile or not? Will it compile or not? Yes, it will compile successfully. Okay. Now, suppose if I write like this, will it compile or not compile? Will it compile or not? No. Why it will not compile? There is no parameterized constructor. But if I write like this, there is no default constructor also, no. But how it will compile? That is I given here. If the class does not contain any other constructor, then Java compiler implicitly provides default constructor. So if you compile like this, it will compile. Because there is no constructor, Java compiler implicitly provides default constructor. See, file, save. It will compile successfully. Okay. Suppose if I write 10, error comes. There is no this default parameter constructor, it shows. So see, constructor demo in class demo cannot be applied to given types. Required, no arguments. Found, one integer. So here I passed parameter. Then parameter constructor is going to be called. Any parameter constructor is there? No. Will it Java compiler provides parameter constructor? No. That's what error. Suppose if I compile like this, will it compile? No. Yes. Here I am passing parameter that is received here. It will compile successfully. It will compile successfully. Okay. Now give me answer. If I write, remove this one. Now if I write like this, will it compile? 1 minute. 1 minute. Will it compile now? Will it compile now? Will it compile now? Will it compile now? Will it compile? Here you see what I given. If the class does not contain any other constructor, then Java compiler implicitly provides default constructor. Here already one constructor is there. No? Will it provide now? No. It will provide if there is no other constructor. Now this code error. Now default constructor not there, error comes. If the class does say Java compiler implicitly provides one default constructor, but when it will provide, if there is no other constructor, then only provides. Java compiler provides, but when it will provide, if there is no other constructor, then it will provide. Okay. Say if I compile, we'll get error. File, save. There is no default constructor, it shows. See, constructor demo in class demo cannot be applied to given type. Required integer found no arguments. Here required integer found no arguments. But default constructor also not there. That's what error coming. Okay. But if I don't write this one, here no arguments. But no argument constructor also present, implicitly present. That's what compiled. Now, here for examples, it is most important point for learning super keyword further. First one, you write this one. That's what code snippets also I'm giving. Now, first write this one. Later, this concept after 4-5 days or after 1 week, again it will come. At the time I'll ask question, you have to give answer. This first combination, note down. It is implicitly comes. This first combination, it is valid. It is first one valid. Is it over? So here I'm creating object without passing any parameter. Then default constructor is going to be called. Default constructor implicitly provided by Java compiler. That's what it is valid. It is valid. Is it over? Now, second one. Now, second one, here I'm passing like this. Will it compile? Will it compile? No. Why it will not compile? There is no parameter constructor. But which constructor is present here? Default constructor present. Here implicitly default constructor is present. Right, second one, it is not valid. Now it will not compile. First one valid. The second one not valid because there is no parameter constructor. Here I'm passing parameter, but we don't have parametered constructor. Here I'm passing parameter, we don't have parametered constructor. Okay, that's what not valid. Is it over? No. Third one. Now myself I am writing parameter constructor. Is it valid? Yes, it is valid. No. Now it is valid. Now in this program, any default constructor is provided by Java compiler? No, because already one constructor is there. See, while teaching loops, control structures, majority people given right answer. But after when I started object-oriented programming, answers are decreased. You observe. You prepare and come. Otherwise, further you cannot understand subject. It is very difficult appears while teaching encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. And also few students not concentrating. Okay, not concentrating. Only discussion. It is no use. If I say again and again at also, my time waste, your time waste. That is you have to realize yourself. Otherwise, after completion of course, you will realize. If you realize also, no use. Again, time wasted, no? That is, once if I say you have to realize, you have to follow. Now, is it over? Now, fourth one. Is it valid? Is it valid? No, because there is no default constructor. Because Java compiler also it will not provide because already parameter constructor is there. Write this one. Fourth one not valid. Here, note down, note. If the class does not contain any other constructor, then only Java compiler implicitly provides default constructor. If the class does not contain any other constructor, then only Java compiler implicitly provides default constructor. If the class does not contain any other constructor, then only Java compiler implicitly provides default constructor. Now, in this fourth program, will it Java compiler provides default constructor? No, because already one constructor is there. Okay, it doesn't provide default constructor. Now I'll ask some questions, give me answer. What is constructor? A constructor is a special method which has same name as the class name and which has no return type. Class name, method name same and no return type. Then only we can call it a constructor. Okay. When constructor is called, whenever object is created. It is explicitly not possible to call. Whenever object is created, then called. That's it. That is, if you create the object, it is going to be called. Again, if you want to call, it is not possible. Again, you have to create object. Whenever object is created, then only called. In the object creation syntax itself, there is a constructor. That's what constructor is called automatically. Okay. How many types of constructors are there? 2 types. What are those? Default constructor, parameter constructor. Default constructor means without arguments. Parameter constructor means both the constructors can I write in one program. That concept is called constructor overloading. Method overloading also can call because this special method only. Okay. Will it Java compiler provides any constructor? Yes. Which constructor? Default constructor. When it will provide, there is no other constructor, then only provides. Okay. These all you studied, but one more main concept is purpose. Constructors are used to initialize instance variables. This is how to explain. This is how to explain. Now, you observe, you studied variables. You studied variables. How many types of variables are there? 3 types. What are those? Instance variables, class variables, local variables. Now, what is the purpose of constructor? To initialize instance variables. Instance variable initialization only possible with constructor. That purpose we use. But without constructor also it is possible to initialize. Then why do we need constructor? What's the difference? I'll explain. First of all, when we have to use instance variable in Java programming, different values are there. Different values are there. Instance variable. Same value is there. Class variable. When we are doing local variable, if you want to perform any task, if the variable is depending on another variable, if the one variable depending on another variable, in that situation also we can use local variable. See, instance variable, when we have to use, you studied. If the value is different, then we have to go for instance variable. Employee number, instance variable or class variable or local variable? Instance variable. Name, salary, like that you studied. Now, class employee, integer employee number. It is instance variable, no? Float salary, instance variable. Now, what purpose we selected employee number and salary as an instance variable? To get different values. To get different values. Okay. Different values are there. Every employee number is different. That is the reason we selected employee number as an instance variable. Every employee salary different. That is the reason we selected salary as an instance variable. Okay. Employee number we selected as an instance variable. Salaries we selected as an instance variable. Okay. Different values are there. That is the reason we selected instance variable. Now, here, if I write 101, if I write salary 5,000, if I write, okay. Now, here another class I'll write demo main method. Now void main string args. Here employee E1 equal to new employee. Now these two variables are which type of variables? When memory allocated, whenever object is created. Here I created object. Okay. Again, employee E2 equal to new employee. One more object also I created. Okay. Now, how many ways to access instance variable? What are those? Now I want to print. What we have to write? E1 dot employee number. Next, E1 dot salary. Next, E1 dot E2 dot employee number. Okay. Next, system dot out dot println E2 dot salary. Now, instead of writing 4 lines, 1 line also we can write. Okay. But here, instead of writing like this, what you can do is employee E1 dot employee number, but here comma not possible. Comma not possible. Why it is not possible is you studied already methods. Method takes 1 parameter. Can you pass 2 parameters? Now println method takes 1 parameter. But how can you pass 2 parameters? That's what error. What you can do is you can concatenate. Plus, if you write plus, what will happen? Employee number salary added. Okay, employee number salary added. That's what here, just double quotes, space, double quotes plus. You can write like this. Then what will happen? Employee number printed, 1 space printed, salary printed. It is concatenated. So it is an integer. It is a string. And again, salary float. Integer, string, float. It is totally treated as string. Like that printed. System dot out dot println E2 dot employee number plus double quotes plus E2 dot salary. If you want some space, tab, escape sequences are there, /t. /t, if you write tab, spaces comes. Now you observe here. Demo class loaded, main method called, object created, memory allocated to employee number and salary. Again, object created, memory allocated to employee number and salary. Here, employee number salary printed. Again, employee number salary printed. File, save. Compilation, execution. See, you are getting output. What we are getting? 101, 101, 5,000, 5,000. Now, why we selected employee number as an instance variable? Different values. Are you getting different values? That's what this is not the right way to initialize. This is called initialization, but this is not the right way. If more than one object is there, it is not suitable. One object is there, okay. More than one object is there. This way of initialization is not suitable. Now, if I create 10 objects also, same data comes. But actually, why we selected employee number and salary as an instance variable? To get different value. Are you getting different values? No. That's what. This is not suitable if more than one object is there. This way is not suitable in this case. Okay. Now, it is called initialization, but it is not the right way to initialize if more than one object is there. I'll give you notes. First, you write this example. I'll give a description, everything. It is called as an initialization. Write the diagrams. Every object separate copy created, but same values are stored. That's what this is not the right way to initialize. I'll give notes description. I'll give a description. Just write the program, write the diagram only. I'll give a description. Now, is it over? No done. Is it completed? Say demo class loaded, open brace executed, main method called, open brace executed, 2 objects created, 2 times memory allocated. Okay. And you are getting same output 101 5000, 101 5000. If you want same value, we'll go for class variable. Actually, we require different values. So that's what this is not the right way to initialize. Okay. Just write it. This way of initialization suitable for one object only. This way of initialization suitable for one object only. So if you want to initialize, this is initialization only, but this way of initialization suitable for one object only. If you want to initialize more than one object, then we have to go for constructor. So constructor, if you use constructor, you will get a different values. How we'll get, we'll see tomorrow class.